So welcome to the Beats and Cuts podcast. This one's a bit all over the place, mostly due to me dragging the guys to my Airbnb at, I think it was at 3 in the morning. But we'll get to the scratchy stuff in a bit there. So we got DJ Chile and Redmist, the two of my favorite scratchers, both kind of for different reasons. I came across Chile first with his online tutorial videos. And then his freestyle videos where I was kind of blown away by his technical yet imaginative combos and those really well explained tutorial videos. So back in 2014, I think was the first time I met him and got to hang out, and he's a really nice guy that you kind of always want to hang out with when you see him. Really fun. And then Redmist, I met when he came over to Europe for a Scratch Blast tour in 2017. So I was aware of his cutting from the idea videos of his and seeing him in the turntablist world scratch room, but I'd not really heard his music besides maybe some beats from loopers. So I kept seeing a lot of loopers popping up, I think 2015 or so, and I always liked them a lot. So then his group Modus, Operandi, they performed a few times on that tour, so I got to see him a few times, and really the musicality and the kind of production of their event really represented what I like about scratch music. And they had printed dub plates to use for their live show and everything. It was really cool. So yeah, we got together, had a chat. At some point, it'll for sure devolve into me kissing Chile's ass a bunch, but I'm just a huge fan of it. So no matter how many times I hang out with him, I still love his stuff. So always a big shout out to Playground for making the podcast possible. The video and the beat in the background here are our newest release from this dope Belgian producer, Dan Beat. The title's Alimbrius. I think I said it right. And check it out on the app. It's really cool. So give the app a download to support it. Other than that, I think there's a few hiccups in the audio and the video somewhere, but that's what happens when it's 3 in the morning after the Scratch Barbecue. I'll throw some links to some different things. And for the demo video, I think I just found one from, it was quite a while back, but it was when they were having a little freestyle Q&A session at maybe Redmist's house or something in Santiago. And it's just like a quick little snippet because I figured everybody's seen their videos of all his tutorials and they're pretty familiar with that. And the Modus Operandi stuff, it's quite long format, so I'll throw some links to their live stuff that NOZL did a dope documentary on. All right, enjoy it. So we're talking about involuntarily butthole tingling.
Yeah.
It's a good way to start. Is that a big issue in Chile? The lack of. Do people use bidets down there? Is that a trendy thing?
Well,
Poop in bidets, or poop next to bidets and use the bidet or the sprayer. So I feel like advanced societies spray their buttholes. That's kind of my new thought. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
what, like the whole sort of sink?
Yeah.
Aims upwards. Yeah, we have one of those in my grandma's house.
Yeah.
So.
And your family have those in their house?
Yeah, I saw some, man.
They're a good thing. They're not
yeah.
That's like,
I think maybe it's a hot country thing as well. Do you know, like
Mm,
in the cold
man.
countries, it's just like I don't want to sprinkle my ass with water because it's gonna get cold and it's freezing, and I have to jump right into bed with a wet ass. But yeah, it's this. I don't know. Like, is this going to be the whole 2 hours?
Yeah, wet assholes, bidets.
Okay.
I'm just gonna readjust this one a little bit now that I see where from my angle. Alright. No. Okay, so.
Yeah, man. No. Okay.
I think I want to go from when you two met, and then I'll work backwards a little bit, and then we'll jump forwards, like Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3. So when did you guys meet? When did you two?
I don't know, man. It's hard.
And did you meet? You met over in Chile?
Probably like on the internet first.
Yeah, of course, internet first. I mean,
what, like Tiny Chat or one of these?
probably, man. But I
I'll
mean,
talk.
I think it was before that. I'm not sure. Like it might have been on YouTube or something like that. And then you sent me a message, and I don't know.
man.
But like it did end up, like I got to know you a bit more through Tiny Chat.
Yeah, Tiny Chat was really good in that time, man.
And Felipe as well and all that.
Yeah.
What year was that? Like y'all were.
It was like 4 years ago, man.
Jesus, I have no idea. In my head, it's like 2 years ago, but I mean, it could definitely be 4 years ago.
Yeah, probably it's 4 years ago, man.
Wow.
And then we meet in Chile, man.
Yeah, it would have been 4 years ago. Yeah, because then like 3 years ago, I go to Chile, actually meet you guys.
Yeah.
Nice cut.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Do some shows and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chile made some chokies on the beach. Yeah. Do you remember, man? Really crazy, man.
And that was in Santiago?
No, that was in...
It's like,
yeah, like 2 hours.
Away.
Yeah. Who's called, man? I don't remember the name, man. Maitencillo? No?
It wasn't Maitencillo. It was
Yeah.
near no, it was in Maitencillo.
Yeah.
But I was staying somewhere near Maitencillo.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I've just realised I'm slurring. But
So then, you already scratching. You're like, okay, cool, we both scratch. That's easy.
yeah.
Easy to hang out. So then, you go way back. What was the kind of moment, where you found scratching? Like where, maybe not you heard something or whatever, but where somebody was like, hey, you want to try? Here's the equipment, put your hand on it and
The first time
push the record. Yeah, the first time you tried it, like really had a chance to test it.
No, I mean, all my friends was playing instruments, and I don't feel comfortable with any instrument. And one day I saw a guy scratching on a band. So I just feel it, man. That is my instrument,
Yeah.
And I just bought like shitty turntables and a shitty mixer and just started, man.
How old were you when you did that?
When I started, like 16, yeah.
What about you? How did that happen for you? How did you get stuck in?
It was a mixture of sort of moving to a different part of Hull and then acquiring a different set of friends who really enjoyed going to drum and bass nights. So then I would go with them to these drum and bass nights, and then it culminated in one night where we went to see DJ Hype, who's, he's not a particularly amazing scratcher, and if you're listening to this DJ Hype, hey, I still fucking love you. But like, but yeah, he's what started me out in scratching. Like, when I heard him, like while I was on the dance floor, slightly on drugs, but that doesn't totally discredit what I'm going to say. I got like like, what do you call it? This feeling in my spine. Do you know where you just kind of, you take notice of something that is like, that it's really relevant, so it's like your spine's tingling. That's it. Yeah. So it's just like, what the fuck is the sound? Like, I'd never.
Yeah, man, it's probably. We all feel the same. When
yeah. It's that kind of spider sense or something. Do just like, oh my god. Like, there's something I need to take notice of here.
Yeah.
And I kind of just went with that basically, and then I just continued clubbing, taking lots of drugs, and then I saw DJ Craze live as well.
Crazy, man.
And Craze was just like fucking, that was the point where it's just like, Hype does some cool stuff, but Craze is just,
What was that? Was it like the 98, 90, 99?
Yeah, the routines they had. Like, I tried to download it in Chile, and it was so slow, the broadband that
really,
at
man.
that time, where it, like, I downloaded the first 10 seconds of it, and that was enough for me anyway.
What year was that, man?
Amazing. Like 2000, 2001 or something. So I was listening to this and then showing my cousin it, and my cousin was just like, yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna go do something else now.
Yeah.
Because literally, I'm just listening to 10 seconds of the first 6-minute routine of like.
You don't know that. It's just you have to sit down. You don't even touch turntables and come back and do it correctly. Yeah. That newer, or not so new, I guess, but the Craze New Slaves routine. Have you seen that?
Which one?
It's a couple years old. I think I remember showing you and Jack in the kitchen at Jimmy's house. And maybe you were bouncing around and weren't paying attention, but Jack got into it and we watched it and Jack got all like emotional and shit.
Yeah, really? But what routine, man?
It's that New Slaves video where he starts off with him. It's a produced video.
He's
sitting on the couch and showing like Richie Houghton and all these EDM DJs and fucking Steve Aoki and throwing cakes. And it's like, it's got a clip of like Dane Cook stand up saying like, what's a DJ do anyways? Go DJ nuts, and like mocking and and he's like,
and then he's just like completely,
then he goes up and just does this
fucking owns it.
He mixes like old school juggles with like these crazy new school stuff using stems and just murderous set that's like and it starts off too like, I just want to make shit that's dope. That's all that matters, is making shit that's dope. It's so good. It's one of those ones you get tingles in your spine. You get all kind of like half ready to cry and shit. If somebody brought up a recent dead relative, you'd break down into, you know what I mean? Right on the edge, like you get that. It's like a superhero movie, like punching back to the bad guy.
Yeah, I do remember seeing it actually.
Yeah.
It was a fucking good routine. Yeah. Just the production cost of how it's made as well seemed really clean as a video.
Like, do you remember your first cuts? Like your first, like, okay, I know what it's called, and I know the movement, but I just need to be able to do it, or like that first hurdle.
Minor sort of challenge or something like that.
Yeah.
Chirps.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I kind of known for my chirps, but I think it's like chirps was the thing that was the most difficult to me for ages. And I went through periods of like, I'll never get this. There's no way I'll ever get this.
Yeah.
Like, look at Qbert doing this shit. I'll never get to that speed. How the hell does he do that and all this kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
But then 6 months later, you start to understand that, like, you can do it. It just comes with practice and yeah.
Was there one in parallel that you, like, scooped up quick and easy when you were first starting? You're like, oh shit, I can just do that. And I don't know. Like there's always like so when I first started,
I got flared really easy, man.
I could do them all day. Different speeds.
I got it really
I
fast.
couldn't do chirps. It was like the opposite, you know.
With me, it was I think melodic babies. Do you know? So it's like. Like, do you know when, I don't know, someone learns a baby and they're just doing it in that monotone way? Like, I kind of enjoyed just using the concept of it and then changing pitches and then making.
I mean, Diego,
melodies
you
with
do a
it,
slight thing with that with you. But sometimes when you have combos, you lead in the combos with like 3 babies.
I didn't know, man.
Or 2 babies. You go like 3 consistent, like and then you like launch into a more aggressive.
Maybe, man. Now I'm trying to.
Oh, that was something I saw you do a lot maybe last year, and this year I've seen you like sprinkle it in a little. So maybe you kind of.
I don't know, man. Now I'm trying.
I can point it out next time.
Yeah. Please, man.
I like it, and I find myself trying to do like a sloppy version. And then after we hang out and cut, then I'm like start like I'm trying to.
I'm not thinking too much on my cuts now.
Yeah.
It's like I'm trying to turn off my mind, you know, and
no counting.
Yeah.
I was wondering about that with you. Did you ever get into like a phase of counting when you're doing like the hexagons and all the different the royal line and all these? Because the royal line, if I try to go double speed, the third part, like the OG flare with the extra, the third tap. I just end up doing chirps and double clicks on that last one, and I can't like stop myself from just going.
But I don't know. It's like, you know, scratching with numbers isn't the real point overall. Of it. But I mean, I think it is useful as a stepping stone.
For sure.
But you don't like. I don't know. It's not something that you stick with really. I think once you really kind of know how to do it, then. Like you start to sense when you're doing a 2 rhythm scratch. You start to sense when you're doing something that's in 3 rhythms, not because you're thinking in numbers, but because you're thinking in how does my hand feel, how does it sound. Like a is a totally different sound to a .
Yeah, man.
So it's just
I got what you
it's
said.
recognizing those kind of like auditory cues rather than like the numbers. But and then you know when you want to do the more complex kind of cuts that like 11, 13 or whatever sort of pattern scratches, you're just using 2s and 3s and you know very small numbers to add up to 11. So it's
I find with like things that are comfortable, like doing chirps and double clicks and variations of like flares. I don't count, but then when I try 3-click flares, I start counting. And then I fall off because I can't count as fast as you can tap. I like go like I do. I like get scrambled in my head.
But then as well, it's like, you know, I think that's the same for everyone. Like I definitely can't count past a certain speed. But then if you practice the slow speed to the point where you know how that feels in your hands and you know how the sound of it feels, even if you double the speed of that, you'd still be able to intuit that that's the same amount of clicks that you're doing.
Right.
It's kind of, it's just like, I don't know, I see a lot of scratching as being like mathematics. There's a point where you have to kind of like just double something up, like ×2 speed. And you might not be able to do it physiologically at the time, but then you can do it cognitively. You have an idea of like whether you've done it right or wrong, for example. So it's like, you know, if you've done it wrong, you know that you've done it wrong because you've not done it quite fast enough the second time. But I don't know if that makes sense. But
no, it does. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, it definitely does. So then you're first starting cutting. You're doing chirps. What was that next level up? You know, like usually a period of time where you're stuck. You're doing your chirps, doing a couple other things over and over and over.
Yeah.
What was the next like level up in your thoughts, like of a new style or technique or like a new realm of something to look at, a new realm of investigation?
Well, it all comes from chirps. And then it's like once you've got chirps down. I mean, this is my philosophy anyway. It's not like the be all and end all.
Yeah, of
it's
course.
not like but for me, it's like it all comes from chirps, and you can connect every kind of modern scratch is easily connectable to chirps. Not so much with transforms. Like transforms is like the precursor to that. So there are things that you can connect with transforms that you can't connect with chirps easily anyway. I think every scratch is connectable, but it requires some kind of adjustment. Like chirps, there's so much that you can do with them. Like chirp flare, for example, was a huge revolution, and I don't think D-Styles gets enough credit for actually having made that combo. It's just like there's so much credit for other DJs that I won't name, but like D-Styles and chirp flares, just chirp one click flare was a huge deal. It's revolutionized a lot of stuff. But
I mean, with that, you can go so many 2 chirps flare, 3 flares chirp,
All combinations, man. Yeah.
But it's not even just that. It's like I don't know. There's a lot that you can do with chirp flares that you don't need to add clicks to. You can literally just keep it bare bone chirp flare, and not just changing the rhythm as well, but changing the way that you start in the position that you start. So if you're doing a chirp flare forward, or if you start on the reverse of the first chirp. Like it changes everything about the scratch.
Yeah,
it's phase patterns.
Also the chirps not in the beginning of the sound really nice, man.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the last 3 years or so, that's something I focused on was chirps, and then switching in between the normal chirps to the reverse, or just every once in a while a little reverse, here and there, and it gives it a little, I don't know, more ride, nice feel to it.
Yeah.
Chirpies. So then, so you got chirps, you got your learning a bunch of stuff. But what's your learning process between that time and the next? I guess from that you went to battles, right? You learned, you spent time learning, then you went to battles, or you're making music in between.
I don't know. Well, when I first learned chirping, it took me about 6 months or something to get fast speed, and this was really drilling it every day. And that was the first 6 months of scratching, or maybe the first year of scratching. A good 6 months of that was just dedicated to chirping.
Crazy, man.
And then chirp flares and all this kind of stuff. And then I don't know. It's it took me a long time to even consider battling. And then when I did enter a battle, I entered it on a whim. I didn't really expect myself to win. Right. Just I'll just kind of do it. See where I place and just continue with my life and all that kind of stuff. So, but I can't remember what the question was.
I probably don't remember either. Just I don't know, just about that first battle. Do you remember what the battle was? How it went?
Battling, Jesus, yeah. I've never liked battling because it's just counterintuitive. In terms of do you want to do something to win, or do you want to do something to have fun? And to me, it's always been having fun. And then whenever it's come to a competition, it just ruins the fun. Because you get paranoid. It's I have to do the best, and then you get caught in this perfectionist trap where I have to be perfect.
Yeah, man.
And, and then that just stresses you out, and it's just there's no fun there. But then maybe after 20 hours you get that one take, and then that's enough.
And it's fake, man.
But it's it is fake. Because it's you have a true battle would be 2 people come into a room, have a little bit of a cut, and then that's the decision made there. But online stuff is just
online stuff for sure. You get there's a hell of an advantage.
It's just editing.
Just sit there and just drill the thing over and over and over until you have.
But also some people sound worse than in real life, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because they get kind of nervous
Yeah,
during the
man.
recording process, and then it's just like, oh, I'll just give up, and then they go for that. You know, whereas like, yeah, I think what I do is, I spend like 3 or 4 days doing 1 2-minute take, and then it's like, yeah, I've done that great take, but then it's like I don't do that normally. I do
Yeah.
something approximating it,
Yeah.
but I
And
can't.
for
get to
example,
that
for
level
the
with it.
tutorial
It's just
things, how
Yeah, how many times with
Yeah,
the sort of things,
yeah.
like, so let's say you put out a tutorial on the
Yeah.
Royal Line. How many times did you shoot for that?
Not many actually. I mean,
Yeah.
like those things, because they're simple combos in the sense that like
simple for
know
you, man.
No, I
but
know
it's
what
like-
you mean. It's
Yeah,
it's
I'm
like
just-
you know what you're
mechanical
doing.
sense.
Yeah.
It's like you know what you're doing mechanically
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna show something, you have to know, you have to be able to do it.
Yeah.
You know, well. So it's like I knew that was something that I could do, and it's just like recording it, and it probably did take like a few takes. I don't really remember fully, but it doesn't take anywhere near as long as doing like for example, a WTK entry competition and all this kind of stuff. That
You
took
won that
fucking
battle,
days,
right?
and- Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But
crazy,
I mean,
man.
yeah. Still to this day, though, I think like second place, the guy that came second,
Who?
like he
Beat you.
deserved it. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, like I'm not gonna argue though. Like
Yeah.
the fucking,
That was a
was it
really hard beat,
Besker
man.
and Enfo both voted me
Mm.
like top marks, so it's like okay, I won't argue with that. Like they're both fucking amazing cutters. Oh, it wasn't Deska, it was Arash. That was it, Arash.
Oh, crazy, man.
And Enfo. But
What year was that? What year was that?
I don't know, man.
2011. So yeah,
Ah, crazy, man.
I had
Yeah.
7 in my head. I don't know why I thought that. But
I've sank into irrelevancy already.
No,
Talking about something 7
because
years
for,
ago.
for like for your relevancy from my perspective was like I moved to Europe in 2006, and somebody, a Christian, probably was like, "Hey, look at this," and then it's just a message, and I looked at it, and it was one of your tutorial videos, and I was like,
It might have been the first one with chirps.
"Yeah, it
And
was
chirp
one of the old ones." Yeah,
variations.
and I was like, "Ah, fuck."
Yeah.
It's a lot to catch up
There's
on, and
an
I haven't
in-
been paying attention.
There's
to
an
it, I
interesting
feel
story behind that tutorial. The very
Yeah.
first tutorial.
like. Yeah.
I have like scars on my hand,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically glass falling onto my hand on both sides. And yeah, I hadn't had a very. I was quite frustrated after that tutorial. It's just like, this is fucking shit. Why am I wasting my time? And I ended up going to sleep at like 6 in the morning, then got woken up really early, and just like so fucking pissed off, wanting to go to work, needing to go to work.
Mm.
And I just punched through a glass door in my room, and then just like instantly got karma, where it's just like, oh, all that glass is falling onto my hands.
Shit, man.
Slicing you.
Yeah, so it's just it's a bad
Damn.
bad times.
So yeah, WTK. What did you enter after that? Like, what did you get into the battle thing, or
Huh?
were you starting to make music then, or did you keep?
I think that was a year
I
after
kept seeing
winning.
little
That was a
things
year
about
after
it.
winning WTK.
Right.
So then it's like, you know, you have the pressure of like, oh, I've won this thing. So you make a tutorial video or whatever, but then it also has to be like, you know, top notch or whatever. And I just kind of, I couldn't be arsed with it up until 6 in the morning, woke up at 9, and I just kind of went into a bit of a rage, and then instantly just like realised why I shouldn't ever go into a rage.
Those
Because
videos.
it's never good for someone else. It's always just bad for me. You know, I'm the type of person where like I'll hit,
It feels good to get it out on somebody at first,
hit
and then it's
I'll hit something and it'll destroy me rather than another person.
Let me see. I'm trying to look at what's your oldest videos. So you got 6 years ago.
Can I just get my drum? Pad. I'll keep this in.
6. Yeah, 6 years ago. Let's see here. 6,000 views. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
It's crazy, man. A lot of time.
21, 35, 38, 42, 50,
But I have the pen.
70,
Maybe it's
92, 79, 91, 94, 104,
What is this?
5.
I did not mind this. Was I giving it? Oh,
Probably John Fierce.
John first. Good.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
John?
Probably, yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
That's cool. Alright then. Cool. I'm okay with accepting things for free.
Yeah, man. A cheer for free. It's always good, man.
So, this is what I wanted to bring up. Looking at your profile, you have like, do you know how many views you have on YouTube? I just quickly look and like try to add up. Yeah.
I think last time it was like a few.
I think I just briefly
Tallied
counted,
them up.
and it seemed like over 200,000
Yeah.
on videos.
Yeah.
Okay, but like when you, okay, right now if you see a video for whatever DMC or Pioneer's release of their new thing and somebody does a scratch routine,
Yeah, like
those are
million
getting
or
like
something.
6,000 to 10,000 videos.
Good, man.
Yeah.
Seems like so like you've got videos on there where you're doing a little scratch tutorial, 30 seconds. Here it is. Here it is double time. Here it is psycho time. Goodbye. And you've got way more like interaction. So people want to see it. People look at it. People replay it. It's clear. So yeah, that's a pretty big success, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know. I
It's-
think
it's
for something
probably-
to be a success,
It is.
it needs
like,
to be an
there's-
economic success
There's
as
people.
well.
There's people that are
At least
around
to
you
me.
that scratch, and like I've run into so many people that I looked up to their scratching, and I asked like, "Was there anything that you think I should be paying attention to that I'm not?" And then a lot of times people say, "Oh, start with Royal Line, and pay attention to those chili cuts he put out."
Yeah, man.
And,
Probably
use
chiles.
them as a stepping stone from a base that like is a very solid
Yeah.
base. I've heard it so many times.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
It is, man.
It's nice that it gets that reception.
But you put in the work to spread the word, which is important.
Probably Chile is one of the most influential scratchers,
Yeah.
man. Yeah,
I agree.
totally, man. Yeah.
It's like not. It's because we're just gonna like inflate your ego for a little bit, but
Yeah, but I have an anti-ego inflation
I know.
device.
Yeah,
Because
of
it's
course.
just like, you know,
so you're making a dope picture. While
I
you
get
did
the
it.
devil's advocate straight away. You know,
But
it's
that's
just like,
everybody's the worst critic.
I'm-
Everybody thinks that they're
Yeah.
fake and that
But-
like they can't
well,
believe
at the same time, it's like,
nobody notices and.
but it's like, you know, I do understand that, like, to some respects, I am influential amongst some people, but like, it's not the be all and end all. Like, there are people that are much more influential than me. Some of those people have maybe lower skill sets as well, but they're better at presenting what they do to the masses.
We were
So
kind of
it's
getting
like,
into it earlier.
you know, at the end of the day, it's like, for some people, one person is going to work better than another person, and I think I just appeal to people that have already got a fairly good grounding. Do you know, they kind of already know what they're doing, and I'm okay with that. That's the way that I kind of structure my tutorials. do you know?
especially your
Yeah,
recent
yeah,
Like,
tutorials.
just assume that you already know the chair,
Yeah.
and that, like, you know, now we can do some variations with it. I kind of have an idea that you've done transforms for a while, so then it's like, let's look at the variations that you can get out of that. And many of those variations you'll know, some of them that you won't, and maybe they'll teach me something.
But for example, in your mind, all the scratches have a name. You know what I mean? When you're scratching. Yeah.
I don't think in terms of like, oh, I'm doing this now.
Yeah,
like this.
exactly.
No, I don't.
No.
I don't.
I'm gonna grab some water for you guys. You want some water?
Yeah.
Particularly the more drink I get,
Talking.
the less that I
No,
interfere
for example,
with it.
I know the chirp, I know the flare, but when I am playing, I don't know what I'm doing. You know.
Yeah, and that's good. I think.
Yeah.
You know. I think part of like becoming like an artist or musician or whatever, like being in the arts, is to actually, it's like, you know, not being afraid of the fact that you don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because like a lot of the time you look at these people in documentaries, if you really analyse what they're doing, they have no fucking clue. Like this, like Jean-Michel Basquiat, I fucking love him. I think he's a fucking amazing artist. But he was a really young kid. He just happened to be around the right place in America. Like met influential people, and part of that was his intelligence as well.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, like I don't know. It's not just his level of skill. It's also the things that go around that. And I don't know.
Yeah, man. It's like in school, you know. If you meet with the smart ones, you're gonna be a smart one.
You learn from them.
Yeah.
And yeah. And sometimes you learn from the people that...
Also happens here, man. If you come to the Community Scratch, you're gonna improve, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I think if anything, like, Community Scratch it's a good way to kind of gauge what's going on currently in the vernacular. So it's like, you know, the things that are commonly done, and then to kind of look around those things. So it's like, you know, you see these things maybe doing quite a lot, and then it's like, what can I do that's maybe a bit different? So then you bring that to the next Community Scratch, and then people are like, whoa, and then they're affected in the same way. So it's like they're looking at like the vernacular. It's like, that person's done that now, how can I maybe change to fit my own little kind of part in the jigsaw? So and it is like we're all pushing each other forward, really. Like I used to just scratch alone, and since I started scratching with other people, it's a big evolution. Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah, of course.
Fucking hate.
Fucking hate, you can swear, brother.
Motherfuckers.
When did you have that kind of change from just scratching alone to scratching with the Community Scratch Games guys, or people in general, and how did that evolve? Who was the person?
Do you know John?
Yeah.
The camera guy earlier.
Yeah. Captain.
We used to be like pretty much best mates.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He studied in Hull as a graphic designer, and then in his final year his laptop got stolen, and then he had to fucking just go back to London. But I mean, it was a bad story, but then, like, you know, years later he became a very, very successful dubstep DJ, and you know, he's kind of now has his own company. Yeah,
I remember him from a while back, and then recently I've been seeing his stuff a lot.
Yeah,
he was in Berlin and doing the Boom City.
But yeah, he's like now has his own kind of production company, making videos and for skateboarders and pro skateboarders, and
he had those serious gimbals, man, the robot camera chest gimbal.
Yeah.
You could fight robots with it. Nice.
But yeah, that was the first experience I had of like being around people that were kind of supportive, rather than, you know, like being around someone that's competing with you and, you know, saying like, oh yeah, I don't really like your stuff, man. It's like, you know, you meet someone that's more acknowledging. It's just like, alright, I like what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. You should come down to mine sometime and we'll do the same thing, because I want to learn from you. And, you know, I wanted to learn from him as well. So it's a kind of a mutual exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah, feedback, man.
Yeah. I guess it's the same in Chile, you know, like meeting Felipe and Ghost and all that.
Yeah, totally,
and then regularly meeting up with them, and it's just like, that's the way to go, I think. Right?
Yeah, when you found the Community Scratch games, when did you found?
I think it was like 2012, like a year after I'd won WTK and that. And it's, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, immediately they taught me a lot. Because, like, you know, Jim would watch me in doing a video and, well, recording a video live. And I'd go in and out of doing something that was quite nice into something that was a bit incoherent, into something that was pretty nice, and then maybe another nice bit there, and then it would end. And for me that was kind of normal, but then when he told me afterwards, it's just like, you know, what happened there was like your shoulders are up here. You're not aware of the fact that, like, you're nervous as fuck, tense. Like absolutely fucking nervous out of your head. And then after that, I kind of started to take notice of, like, shit, like, I am really fucking nervous all the time. And sometimes your conscious brain doesn't register to the fact that you're really not enjoying being on the spotlight and all that kind of stuff. And it's, you know, modulating that really, like, has been a thing that I've been doing over the past few years. And
trying to recover from that.
Yeah. And yeah, Jimmy's got a world of information about that. For example, like smiling. Like, if you make a mistake in the audience, you just
like
smile.
trick the brain, you know?
Yeah. And it's like it tricks the audience as well, because it's like, you know, they could be just like, what the hell happened then? Yeah. But it's more like, you know,
like, oh, you caught me, it messed up.
It can't be
it's
so
a good
because he's smiling.
It's,
so it's just like,
it's a good attitude, man. I like it, but
it's hard to tell yourself to do it. But make it a new habit, laugh at it, and move on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's not a bad idea. And then I remember, like, I had just met you, and I guess I met you at the barbecue, but then the following Easter Galway thing, I think I was tripping out because my wife was gonna have a baby in the week.
Oh.
And I couldn't stop rambling about what I expected it to be like and stuff with you, Chilean. And but yeah, you were there sitting there painting or drawing with the pastels or something all weekend, and you said something to me, and I'm trying to remember what it was now. I just went blank when I started talking about it. I lost it completely. Fuck, what was it? With the scratching.
You come back to it.
Yeah, well, I'll get back to what you said tonight with it's just stupid scratching, and it doesn't matter. What's up with that? You just joking around, or?
Well, I don't know. It's like when you think of it in the grander scheme of things, it doesn't matter.
In a straightforward,
and it's like it's the same
sense.
In any entertainment industry. If it's just about the entertainment, then it doesn't matter. Like if it's entertainment mixed with some meaning, then it matters. But, like, you know, most entertainment isn't that. But then you'll have the odd film which really kind of like, it kind of tricks you into feeling something about the character or something, and then that in itself gives you a greater understanding of, like, what life is about. Like, you know, this main character's gone through loads of stuff, and then it's like, oh shit, yeah, that could happen to me, and then you gain an awareness. But if it's just mindless kind of like, you know, I'm just cutting and to a beat, and it's cool, and then it ends, and it's like, okay, it's meaningful to people in the sense that it sounds cool, it's aesthetic, but it doesn't have, there's nothing else attached to it, there's no deeper kind of idea behind it, and
like that's something.
And it's like, when I say that though as well, it's like I fully understand that I do that a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and part of it is just compulsion to just scratch because I like it.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with being a bit of a hypocrite, but
it's probably all loose from my lack of properly squeezing it earlier. I just noticed it got all like sagged out. Yink, and then it'll fall when I tighten it, and it'll be in a good spot. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Shit, it's late. I'm trying to remember what you just said. But what's up with the art? So last time I saw you, Community Scratch games, you were drawing a lot
Mm.
and going off. I'd seen like random things before that, but that was like the new thing. It seemed like.
Yeah.
What's up with that? How'd you start into it? How'd you get back into it?
I've been drawing since I was a kid, and then I gave up to ride my bicycle because I thought that was cool. And then from there it's just kind of, I don't know. The only thing that I would draw in secondary school was teachers in weird sexual positions that they probably wouldn't appreciate if they'd seen the picture.
Yeah.
Just taking the piss out of them, basically. And then in uni, I started to actually to draw again, and it just kind of went from there, really. And I don't know. I know my strengths and my weaknesses in drawing as well. So it's like I'm not very good at drawing things that exist, landscapes and stuff. But I think because I've come from music, I'm good at picking up patterns.
Yeah.
So then it's like I'll just focus on pattern work with a lot of art, and there'll be figures there or whatever, but it's not relevant that those figures need to be exactly anatomically correct or anything, because they're symbolic, like most things. You know.
Yeah, I mean the print I have at home, it's like got a lot of symbols. You have like kind of bursting sun, and the other maybe planet or sun or star. It's hard to and then this other thing going on.
I thought you got the style from the TTM thing.
Yeah, a little bit from that as well. Yeah.
With the dots.
Yeah,
all the stuff, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Dots and triangles.
Yeah,
but then
definitely.
it also has a weird, like, it reminds me of the touristy Machu Picchu garments and trinkets
maybe,
and
man.
stitchings in like South America as well. At least that's what I thought. I would assumed that there was something with that actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a bit of all of it, really. I don't think that you can exist in a void where like nothing has any impact on you and your creative work, and that suddenly you just do something and it's completely original. Like, I think that the days that happened are long gone. Maybe when we first made the wheel or something, and there was something going on there where it's like truly innovative. But now we're doomed to repeat. Well, to take things from other people and then to say that we've done something new, when really it's just a web. It's like a web of influences, which isn't necessarily bad either. It's like in some ways it's quite endearing that you carry all of your influences with you into the new projects that you do. So I don't know. Yeah,
it's almost like a master mentor kind of situation. A weird organic one that maybe both parties aren't aware of.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. And so Diego, but I saw Diego first was ITF stuff. That was like how I see your name.
An IDA,
IDA. And then I didn't see anything for a little bit, and then it was like, oh, he's coming out with a record, and it's got sounds. And I was like, just bought a loop pedal, so I was like,
man.
Sound record, yes.
Yeah, well, I was exploring,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't really like the battles, routine battles. I don't enjoy that stuff too much.
Yeah.
I prefer scratch battles, but.
Did you spend time on making your routine battles?
Yeah,
like
man.
Learning the ropes and learning all the
man.
and
Yeah. I spent a lot of time, man.
Yeah.
Also, I made the music for that, man. Yeah.
And it wasn't a rewarding feeling, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. What's I don't feel so good with that stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like another person playing, when I watch the videos. Yeah, man. I think totally different today about the scratching and the turntablism. Yeah.
What about with the music? Like, when did you start getting into doing that? Like, to actually, laying out tracks, producing tracks, translating it to a live
Like
show?
4 years ago, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that was like a goal? Like, or did you just suddenly was like, hey, I should try that? Or how did that,
Yeah,
so you wanted to
I
do
was
that?
boring, like searching loopers,
Yeah.
So I tried to create my own world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there anybody like kind of that were doing something around that time when you were feeling like kind of bored? Was there anybody else that was doing stuff you were like, that's it, that's the thing I should try out?
No.
That's not-
I always look more into the past than the future, So
yeah.
yeah.
That's what I mean. Maybe it was there's someone that you were like that right there is like an achievement if I could get to that kind of style or that kind of level. Or,
Yeah. Well, actually, the guys from the Community Scratch, man. Yeah, but also the Gunhole.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gunhole. I was like, that's what I've always wanted
Yeah,
to do.
man.
Yeah, I want to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Gunhole, man. So then, I don't know if I don't think I got this out. So then, how did you guys meet in Chile? Like, how did you just showed up?
No, just I wanted to sell. I think a Serat box or something. Yeah.
From Classified?
To Felipe, yeah. And Felipe is
Shout
friend.
out to Felipe.
The FSO from Modus Operandi.
Yeah, look him up.
Then and FSO is friend is Alejandro friends from long time ago, like when they were kids, Yeah. And we feel, I don't know, when that was a really good vibe when we meet,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that was like 10 years ago maybe. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, man. We think really similar about the scratching,
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long were you over there, Daniel? Like when you were in Chile, how did that work out?
I was there for about a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always tend to go for about a month at a time. And
How many times have you been over?
it was okay. I mean,
Yeah.
it was ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's definitely difficult going to a country that you feel you were born in, but that you weren't born in,
Yeah.
and not being able to fully speak the language and making friends, but not making close friends because
Yeah.
just not being able to really
Yeah.
kind of convey your personality
Yeah.
in its entirety. So then it's just like, after a while, I just got quite depressed and just needed to leave. And it's like, there's nothing to do with like Diego or like Felipe. These guys were like the most fucking humble, nicest people I could ever meet.
Yeah.
It was more like internal kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And it's
man.
just like
Totally.
fucking, I feel so frustrated. Just like I can't like speak this language. I want to speak to my family in a way that they speak to me, and it's just like, I don't know, like I don't feel this family connection with them and all this kind of stuff. And I want to actually have a connection with them, and so it's just, I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of part of the I guess the secondary stuff that comes from a coup. The primary stuff is that people die and that all of these kind of families get, split up and all this kind of stuff. The secondary stuff is that, then there's the second generation where they have to come back and they just feel like aliens.
Yeah.
And my mum as well. She's lived more of her life in England than she has in Chile now. So she's like 40 years in 40 years. Ignore that. I'm not drunk. 40 years in in England and 20 years.
Crazy, man.
25 years in Chile. So it's just like, to her, when she goes to Chile, she feels like an alien, and it's just yeah.
It's a totally different Chile, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It just keeps fucking changing massively and becoming slightly more Americanized by the decade.
Yeah, I imagine. So how did that that Scratch Blast tour last year? How'd that come about?
It was really good, man.
Yeah. Like, how did it start off? Like, you were talking to Sai, or who were you talking
No,
to?
it was for the improvised fight record, man.
Yeah, okay.
The guys want to tour about around England,
Yeah.
and I think Darcy asked me about if I can make it,
Mm-hmm.
So I approached the money of the record,
Yeah.
and then I also we were starting the project of Modus Operandi, So I asked to Darcy and if I can bring some friends,
Yeah.
and they said yes, and
Nice.
yeah, man, it was really good, man. A really nice experience there. I learned a lot
Yeah.
that time there.
Nice.
It's nice because it's nice because we live too far away, and we think really similar about the scratching scene, Yeah, those guys are incredible, man. Yeah. Really scratch artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chile with you with the tutorials. Like, when you got into the tutorials, it seemed like we were pretty motivated. Like, they were put together crazy well. They had a nice structure. They were well designed. They were written out. The different speeds.
I don't know. I think like the very first tutorials I did
Right.
were for Digital Vertigo, the forum, and I put some effort into that. And I had like little scripts that I read from, and
Yeah.
I had TTM, but it was like TTM written on a whiteboard.
Yeah.
So it wasn't professional and stuff like this, but like I took the lesson from that to then try to make better tutorial videos on my own later on. And I don't know, it's just gone. It's like most things, when it's something that you want to do, you find ways to get better at it. You find ways to refine the process.
Yeah. Get more streamlined and it gets faster.
Yeah. But I still think that there's stuff that I can add to it that would make it more legible and streamlined. But yeah, it's just I'm not motivated with that at the moment.
Right.
So it's like, and yeah, hopefully people won't be too pissed off with that. But it's just
Nah, nobody's pissed
I
off.
just don't really want.
Everybody's just like waiting. Oh, it's taking really long.
Yeah, maybe that's a bit narcissistic as well. It's like, I'm waiting for my information. I must do this. But it's like, when it comes down to it, it's like fucking. There's enough information that I put out there for people to figure out for themselves, and I'm not gonna continue trying to kind of I don't know, baby feed people. I don't know. It's like, well, people are in. It's when I say baby feeding, it's like I know that people are intelligent enough not to need that.
Yeah.
It's not like I need to baby feed them. Because like I think as well, it's like people that make an industry from tutorial videos are heavily into baby feeding. It's just like, we'll teach you this week, and then you have to you learn this the next week, and then this the next week, and it's like you could fit all of those free tutorials into one tutorial. And you just kind of like, in 5 minutes. Whereas like what you've done is free videos, 15 minutes long.
It's the content, the views and the content push.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just in order to monetize each of those videos and all this kind of stuff. It's like, and people feel that as well. I think. Anyway, this is my theory.
Yeah,
They'll
for
put it
sure.
on and they'll just be like, yeah, this is kind of mundane and doesn't actually give me any information. So, but yeah, I think if I get back into scratching, spend enough time
You look happy today, man.
making some new stuff.
Yeah,
Then
you were looking at me
Yeah.
today. I wanted to get the camera. I was trying to point at you. Remember?
you're happy.
I see you happy. I see you
It's like-
feeling it.
and then I just changed my expression to, no, I'm not.
No, technology, no, the weird new thing.
Weird,
man,
Well,
weird,
how feel that?
fucking lit up rectangle. It's like, I
But
don't
how
like
it feels, man.
Did you try to take
I
it
really
off the
liked
record?
it. I did really like it.
Yeah.
I told the guy, one of the developers of it, like specifically, like I came up to him and just said, like, I heard about this thing from outside. I was having a nice time outside, but once I heard about it, deep inside my head, I just wanted to shit on it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go in and I wanted to try it out and
Yeah.
to be like, this is fucking shit. If it was in the slightest bit shit,
Yeah.
but it was fucking good, and I can't really knock it at all. Like, so, you know, well done to them. They've done a good job. Very good job.
Yeah, man.
I didn't try it, man.
Mario's masturbating in his bed upstairs.
Classic Mario.
You'll not edit that out later. He also,
Just cut to, you know, a little scene.
yeah, a little
where there's
scene of him looking shady behind a blanket.
footage. Like,
So how's it feel to be back at the games at the barbecue this weekend?
Yeah, man.
After not seeing you around for a bit.
feels good. Yeah, it
Yeah,
feels
seeing
alright.
everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's friggin' nicer that I mean, it's weird. It's like I've kind of changed my role. So it's like
Yeah.
before I went there to scratch,
Yeah,
and
to
that
be
was
busy.
effort enough. But now I've come to sell art and scratch, and it's had mixed results. So it's like sometimes where I've wanted to just go into the dance floor and listen to people, I just had to listen to them from afar and, you know, be near the stall and make sales and all this kind of stuff. But then as well, it's like I've ended up with a pocket full of money at the end of the day, which is always fucking good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I don't know, yeah, onwards and upwards really, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's answered the question.
We'll see you at the games in Ireland then.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah, I mean, like as well. It's like I wanna be part of this, and if it's not in a scratching way, and obviously I'm always gonna do a little bit of scratching, but it's like I just want to be part of it, and it's like I'll sell some art, but then I would love to play some music as well and all this kind of stuff, and but yeah, the scratching thing is just unhealthy for me, so it's something that needs to take a step back basically.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that I hate it and that I think it's shit, and although like I said that earlier, but like, you know, sometimes I do. Doesn't everyone? It's like it's a love-hate relationship with
Yeah,
something.
exactly, man.
It's like, how long have you been scratching?
Now, like 9 years, probably.
Yeah, and in that 9 years, it's like a relationship. You know, there's the ups and downs.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's just
man.
like, oh, I've just discovered something new. This is the fucking best thing ever. Like, so many things are gonna happen.
Yeah,
from
every
this.
day is different,
And
man.
then it's like, you know, 2 months later, this fucking new thing, I can't stop doing it anymore. Like, you know, just fucking, like, and then you have to unlearn that thing in order to learn new things.
Yeah, I'm at that point right now.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah.
I feel that way right now.
And that's it. And it's this constant cycle of like, it's so great. I've had this breakthrough. You know, like, it's just the flow has become perfect. All of these new techniques and all this kind of stuff, and but it doesn't last. And it's the same, you know, with everything really. You just have to kind of make do with it.
Yeah, it changes.
And then there'll
It
be
changes
really
for
massive
sure.
up points sometimes, and
Yoshi.
then really massive low points.
When Yoshi
So,
was visiting Berlin, a week before, I was looking at a tutorial and I was like, "That's a dope combo." And I learned it, and then he came over to the house and was like, had a cut, and I did it and stared at him, and then he went and I did it again and stared at him, and that's all I did, and then we went. And the third time he was like, "Are you just like, what's up? You're just staring at me. Why you do that?" Comments. And I was like, I stole that from you, from one of your long talks and tutorials, and like I liked it so much how it sounded, so I learned it. And
he hated.
and he was like, "I can't even do that shit anymore."
Yeah.
He was like, I can't even do it. Like, I understand what you're saying, the parts are, and I can't do it right now. So it's funny because he did it so good and effortlessly, better than me, that I can still do it. And then like just lost it, and it's like, I don't even remember how to do that right. Like,
Crazy, man.
Yeah. But I don't know, like, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like with me, I don't think you can forget things that you spent a long time doing. I think when you do forget something that you've spent a long time doing, there's a blockage there. Do you know, it's not to do with the fact that you can't do it.
Yeah.
It's to do with like a lack of confidence. Do you know, your confidence has been knocked, and then it's just like fucking, like I don't know, finding a way out of that confidence knock to basically be like, yeah, you can fucking do it. You've done it on video. People have learned to do that thing from watching you do it on video really easily. So it's just like, you know, just kind of,
But doing, what was the swing flare, but with an extra tap, and then a boomerang. It's a third tap.
And the thing is as well, it's like, you know, people make these things into such esoteric knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's just a fucking movement.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
that was the genius shit of your tutorials again. Like, I keep going back to genius tutorials and pumping your ego up, but like, that was the thing about those was like...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
like,
the thing is, it's so simple as well.
I'm going to do a chirp and an OG flare.
Yeah.
And then on the third OG flare, I'm going to do an extra tap on the way back. And it still ruins me when it gets to anything more than double time. It just ruins me. The slow version, the medium version, I got it. It sounds fine. And the second I try to throw in the high speed, it just fails. Crumbles.
But it's like, you know, I mean, at the moment that's that. But like, you know, as long as you know the process behind it,
you get better.
You get it with time. You know, it's like the impossible becomes possible because someone's done that and basically said it's not that hard.
Sometimes you can get a combo, for example, and if you leave it, probably you can get it
later
the next week or
definitely yeah
like the mind should process, you know. Yeah.
You guys tired?
Yeah, I'm tired.
All my podcasts are gonna be dudes passing out. It's all the late night after Saturday. So good. In the morning, apparently, Sly and the guys are gonna come over.
Yeah, cool.
We'll see if they make it up or not. Yeah, man, I'm good. You guys
was long, man. I expect much less.
How long was it? Do you think?
Like 45.
1 hour.
Oh, I hope it's more than that.